Hi all, this is Papaya with Papaya Pythons. Here with us today is a little normal ball python. We thought today, instead of just talking about the mutations that affect ball python color and pattern, we talk about some of their adaptations to their environment that they have that have been pretty long-standing. So one of the things about ball pythons is that they are a ground-dwelling snake. So they do not climb trees, they do not climb bushes, they hang out in the ground and underground in termite mounds and in rat dens hunting for prey. Most of their hunting is done in complete darkness. But this means that their belly scales are very specialized for crawling on the ground. So when we look at these called the scutes, these specific scales are very short and a little bit fat. And that doesn't seem that irregular when we're looking at the belly until we look at another member of the python. When we look at a member of the carpet python group, we can see that this is William. This is William, our carpet python, and he's still juvenile, but he actually is a tree-dwelling snake. And you can tell that he likes to dwell on trees because he holds on really well and knows that he could fall. But even more so, you can tell by looking at his scales underneath, at how much wider they are on his abdomen and at how much bigger they are. And if you were here with us, you could also feel the difference because the feeling is actually quite different between the two types of scales. Even though these snakes aren't that distantly related compared to other groups, they're still very differently adapted for their specialized environments. So when we look at Delta and William together, we can see that there's quite a difference between those belly scales. The key difference between these species is in their tail. So remember, this is William, the carpet python, and the only way to really find a tail on a snake is to flip it over and look at the cloaca. So you can see William's cloaca is right about here, which means that his tail extends from where my two fingers start to where my other two fingers end. So his tail is rather long, it's rather tapered, and it's very, very strong. He can actually hold himself up from just his tail, and he uses it for both balance and to assure himself that he's ready to move on to the next branch. You can tell that he's relaxed right now because he's not actually gripping on with his tail. He's just sort of casually moving along because he knows us and he knows we're not going to drop him. Now, on the other hand, when we look at the ball python tail, again, we start by flipping her over and looking at the cloaca, which is about here, and then we have this much tail. That's a much shorter tail. It's also a much fatter tail, and she definitely could not hold herself up from that. Now, while she's still using it a little bit for balance and to tell where she is, she definitely doesn't use it to the same extent that William uses it when he climbs trees and holds onto branches and balances himself and counterbalances against wind or grabbing prey items. So this is a huge difference between these two, even though they're not separated by very much. They're separated by a very long distance in evolutionary history in order to specialize in different prey animals, different environments, to adapt to survive. We'll have more videos like this for you guys. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions, feel free to email us or call us or send us a tweet. Thanks all.